yourself, and then the questions, and then your closing statement.
I'd like to thank the Board of Education for giving me the opportunity to apply for this position, be interviewed. I'd like to thank all of you for coming out tonight. My name is C.C. Lester. I've recognized a lot of you that came in. My experience, I retired principal from Richwood, Nicholas County. I was at Richwood Junior High School for 27 years. In my 35 years of experience in Nicholas County, I was a principal for 33 years from elementary, split schools, elementary, junior high. I had retired 6 years ago, and I was off for a year enjoying hunting and fishing when I got a phone call in August by the superintendent to come over and open up the school, which was Martha Middle School. After hesitation, I decided to come over, and I did, and not because I'm here tonight, but I've told people that. I tell the people when I'm around. It was the most enjoyable experience I've ever had in my life. While being a principal at Richwood Junior High School, I had a school of excellence. We had numerous awards, academic awards, programs, agriculture, horticulture, criminal justice, things like that. But coming to Pocahontas County, I worked with a fabulous group of teachers. At the middle school, I met a fabulous group of teachers from the other schools. Fantastic principals, things like that. I'm just not saying because I'm staying here tonight. I've said it since I left. I've said it every day. And it's an honor to be, even considered for an interview. I've also met many people in the public, the hardest working, honest people I've ever been around, and I would like to be part of that. Wonderful kids. Our school's been AYP, programs brought in, and just it was a fascinating experience. My wife, Annie Lester here, is also retired. She worked over the middle school. She's currently working at Richwood Middle School now, an interventionist, and for the last 2 years, I've been working as a dropout interventionist. 1 year at Nicholas County High School, last year at Richwood High School. So I thank everybody for coming out tonight. And do you read the questions out?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I'll read from here without going up. Okay, these are multi-part questions. Okay, what do you see as the most critical issues facing public education, and how do those issues impact Pocahontas County schools? That's the first part of the question. Second, based on the critical issues you identified in the first part of the question, what career experience have you had that will allow you to successfully address these issues, particularly in a way that is beneficial and constructive for the school system?
I feel there's many issues facing the schools today. All the standards being changed from the federal government down to the state government, the guidelines, the pressures of technology, AYP, No Child Left Behind, all like that. But one of the issues I see in a lot of counties where I'm from, I see it here, I've heard it here, I still hear it here. I believe we need to get more involvement from the public and more input on decision making and get the trust and faith back to people that we are here for the kids and decision made are for the kids. I know you hear that a lot, but I'm a firm believer in working with students. I've said it since day one, the most important resource we have in America are the students. And I feel sometimes we get shortchanged because decisions made because of how someone feels, something like that. I think we should sit down, show the people, the teachers with the work here that I've dealt with, been very honest and open. The public I work with have been even nice to work with. I think we need to get the faith and trust back from these people. I know this county doesn't have a levy. I don't know whether they would ever vote for a levy, but I think before anything like that ever happens, and I'm not proposing a levy now, but you have to get the faith of the people out here, the taxpayers and things like that. When I was at Martha Middle School, there's a wonderful teacher up there that made a statement one day in a faculty meeting. We need to get these people, or the parents, back in the school, know that we want them here, that we don't dislike them. And there was a lot of distrust back when I got here. I still see that distrust. I see decisions made, especially in my county, where the kids come last. That's wrong. The decisions should be made for the kids and supplement as the best we can to deliver programs for our children. The second part, you want to read that again? What experience have I had that allowed you to successfully address these issues, particularly in a way that's beneficial and constructive to Pocahontas County schools? I've always been probably very vocal, probably sometimes too vocal, but I also like working with people and explaining to them, the issues and things like that. My leadership style has always been one of call this the shared decision-making, things like that. Get the input from many people around as possible, because everybody is a stakeholder in the education of a child. It takes a community to raise a child. It takes a school system to educate a child, everyone. And I believe by being open and honest with people, you can get them to see the light. You have to involve all players. For example, when I was at the middle school up there, we brought in a couple of programs. Before, because I was a principal, you just don't ram something down their throat. You have to get the support of those people. Two things we brought up there was the Respect and Protect program, which was very, very good, I feel. I not only saw it make a change in students, saw it make a change in teachers when they would compare notes and say, we're doing this wrong and things like that. And it was very rewarding to see that happen. But I involved everybody in that. We talked about it, we brought people in, we got the proper training for the teachers and all like that. It was very successful. From what I've heard, it's still successful. Other systems try it, they don't follow the proper way. It comes up, this is what I'm going to do, and it never works. Another thing we did at the school was we brought in the block schedule, but also we had the training, we discussed things like that. So decisions countywide need to be made by everybody involved, the community, the principals, the teachers, the service personnel, all like that.
Okay. The second question. Pocahontas County Schools has several organizations representing teachers and service personnel. What will be your approach with these organizations and working with them as the new superintendent? Please answer the question within the context of whether or not you would institute a superintendent's advisory committee.
I have worked with the AFT, WEA for many, many years. I know the people on it. I have had a good relationship with them. I think they do a lot of good things. I think it's needed in today's society and all like that. I definitely would have an advisory committee. Several things I would do if I chose a superintendent. I would have a teacher or group of teachers from each school that I'd meet with regularly to see the input, have the input from them. I would also meet with service personnel. I'd also have a community coalition, whatever, to meet and discuss the problems. I don't think we go into board meetings without being aware of what the problem we have. I mean, I talked to teachers, talked some today, the problem they have and all like that. I'm very open to suggestions, and as a matter of fact, you know, I've worked with especially the AFT very closely in my years at Richwood Junior High School, as well as AFT. I'm familiar with the process and all like that. I've always felt if we treat our personnel fairly, then, you know, we don't have the problems with grievances and things like that. And I may have 40 the first week, but I've also tried to treat everybody the same in regards to who they are. You know, I don't believe you should be making a decision because who somebody is or whatever. I feel if you treat everybody the same fairly, then that reduces a lot of problems. And I welcome working with any organization